Okay, I want to make this quite quick. I'm on the way home and this is something I've never done before. Actually be motivated to stop my car to make a video because I know this is the only chance I'll have to make this video for a few days. I want to make it while it's current. I've watched a video called Dear Fat People by somebody called Nicole Arbour, who is one of these kind of professional YouTubers who seemingly can't string more than 5 fucking words together without a jump cut. And she has made this video, Dear Fat People, which is kind of in equal measures one part sort of fat shaming, one part well-intentioned, I think, advice, apparently to try and shock fat people into looking after themselves more, and one part comedy, which I think's a bit of a kind of ill-advised mix, if I'm being honest, if what you intend to do is to try and do some good and enable fat people in some kind of a way. And I came across a video due to 2 people that I subscribe to, 2 awesome blokes who are perhaps a bit broad in the bean themselves, Boogie2988 and Ginger Greek, and they had found a video quite offensive, and I can see why in many ways. I don't think it achieves what she wanted it to achieve, and there's 4 quick points that I want to make. The first point is she says that fat shaming doesn't exist, and her evidence for that is that fat people say stupid shit. Well, yes, they do, and the reason that fat people say stupid shit, and the reason that fat people have chips on their shoulders, and the reason that fat people see society being against them in ways that are sometimes ridiculous, which can include a doctor giving them good advice being taken as fat shaming, is because fat people, to agree with what Boogie298 says, fat people at the end of the day are fucking people, right? And people of all description do these kinds of things, and they see these kinds of society being against them when they're not. So sure, some fat people are going to do that, but that doesn't mean that fat shaming doesn't exist. What, has she been living under a fucking rock all these years if she hasn't seen some of the absolutely unnecessary, unwarranted abuse that achieves absolutely nothing that some fat people have to endure? She says that she wants her message to help. I mean, how she perceives that her message is going to help? What part of the abusive content of a video does she think that fat people haven't heard before? Does she think fat people live in a cave, or perhaps, I don't know, in the sort of language of her video, live in the fucking Gato mines of the Black Forest, and so have somehow never heard this kind of thing before? You know, most fat people, if they've been fat all their lives, they've been mocked and ridiculed at school. They've always been the last fucking person to be picked for any fucking team sports event while they're at school. They've had people whisper behind their back. They've all had all kinds of abuse most of their lives. Why does she think just adding another little veneer of the same on the top is going to make the damnedest bit of fucking difference? I couldn't see the positivity in a video that she claimed. The main point that I want to make that really motivated me to make this video was that I think what a lot of people miss, and this is something that I've really only come across in recent years, is just how fucking lucky I am with regard to this. And the reason is that there seems to be 2 kinds of people. And I am one of those kinds of people that when I get stressed, I lose my appetite. Now, that isn't always a positive thing. Sometimes I've had sporting events coming up when I could really do with getting a good dose of carbs down me. But because I'm nervous, I struggle to do so. It isn't always a positive. But in terms of not getting fat, by Christ, that's a fucking positive, because it gives a kind of negative feedback loop. If I put on a little bit of weight, and occasionally I do, and I'm one of these fucking pieces of string shit that it just looks like a knot in a piece of string when I put on weight. It all goes on the middle and nowhere else. So I look really crap, right? I look really stupid, right? So that makes me feel depressed. I lose my appetite, and I don't put any more weight on, and it's a lot easier to lose the weight. Now, I don't know how much self-control people like Ginger Greek or Boogie2988 or anybody else who struggles with their weight has. I'm not commenting on that. But what I want to say is they don't have the kind of negative feedback loop that I have. They are entirely the opposite, right? When they get stressed, they eat more. And that is a totally different kettle of fish. That is something that I can't even comprehend what that must be like. So I don't know how much self-control they manage to exercise. Maybe it isn't always very much. But what I can tell you is I haven't had to exercise a shred more self-control than they've had to exercise. It all just comes too fucking easy for me. If I put weight on, I feel stressed, and then the weight goes off because I just don't eat very much because I feel stressed. Okay, that's it. That's the points that I wanted to make. The only last thing I wanted to say was just a point to fat people. Hello, fat people of the world. And not to all fat people, certainly not to Boogie2988, certainly not to Ginger Greek, because I've heard enough of these chaps to know that they're not guilty of this. But I've watched some sort of American series with fat people on it, and some of them don't seem to be able to differentiate between highlighting the reason for why they're fat and enacting a cure. And these are two very, very different things. And just because, you know, if you can tell me, well, the reason I'm fat is because this has happened in my life, or because I have this medical condition, or because I have this and that, do you know what? You have my sympathies. I'm very fucking sorry for you. Genuinely, if there are these reasons, then I am really, really sorry for you. But obviously, manifestly, that is not the same as a solution. The simple fact that you've highlighted, that you've pinpointed what has caused the problem, that's just the start. That might enable you to start working out what the solutions are and enacting those solutions. But unless you take those extra steps, it isn't going to make any difference. And if you do want to lose the weight, then you have to take those steps. And obviously, I know enough about Boogie2988 and Ginger Greek to know that they're well aware of that because they've stated it in videos. But it seems that for some people, that seems to pass them by. They're just happy that they can put a reason to why, you know, they've got problems with their metabolism, or they've got this medical condition. That is why they've got the weight. And that's it. They're just now going to carry on doing the same thing they did last year, the same thing they did a year before, and the same thing they did a year before that, and presumably just expecting some magic to take place. It isn't going to take place, and you're the only person that actually can really take hold of your own future. That's what I wanted to say. Terrible video, Nicole Arbour. No wonder you disabled your likes and dislikes. No wonder you disabled your comments. Right, I better carry on my journey home now, haven't I? Bye for now.